Ethiopia has been trying for a long time to build a dam. It's really revolutionary what they've done, but how they funded it was fascinating.
That's the story of resilience.
I mean, that's the most fascinating story.
In January 2026, two very different stories were told about the same river. At the World Economic Forum in Davos, the narrative was one of U.S. financing, regional threats, and negotiation deadlocks. But while some world leaders at Davos are still operating on outdated intel, the Global South is already celebrating the result. On the other side of the Atlantic, a global cultural icon and one of the world's most respected prime ministers just revealed the truth that Washington and Cairo have spent a decade trying to ignore. From the Caribbean to the Cape, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam isn't being discussed as a dispute, it's being celebrated as the Adwa of our age. Today, we're decoding why Trevor Noah and Mia Mottley's recent conversation has just shattered a decade of Nile propaganda. This is True Frame. The Receipts, debunking the 5 billion myth.
It's one of the largest dams anywhere in the world. It was financed by the United States.
Let's start with the receipts. At Davos, the claim was made that the United States financed the GERD. But listen to Prime Minister Mia Mottley, who stood at the dam's inauguration as a guest of honor. She describes a project that didn't wait for a yes from the World Bank or a grant from the capital.
When the international world determined that this project was not to see the light of day, the people of Ethiopia stood tall and put their money where their mouth is.
The data is undeniable. In 2020, the US didn't fund the project. They attempted to freeze it by cutting $272 million in aid to pressure the source nation into a colonial-era deal. As Trevor Noah pointed out in their discussion, the miracle of the GERD is that it was crowdfunded by the pocket change of citizens who refused to ask for permission to develop. While the Davos narrative relies on financial leverage, the Highland reality relies on sovereign will. The Adwa of our age.
This is the 21st century Adwa.
Prime Minister Mottley used a word that resonates with every African heart, Adwa. In 1896, the Highlands proved that African sovereignty could not be broken by military force. In 2026, the GERD has proven that it cannot be broken by financial exclusion. This isn't just about water or electricity. It's about what Trevor Noah called a revolutionary example. By bypassing the Western-influenced financial systems that have kept developing nations in debt for decades, the source nation didn't just build a dam, they built a blueprint for independence. Mottley's presence at the inauguration wasn't just diplomatic, it was a recognition that the Adwa of Engineering has set a precedent for the entire Global South.
On behalf of the Caribbean community, on behalf of the 6th region of the Africa Union, the diaspora, I stand here today to say that you have opened our eyes.
The blueprint. This is why the heat between Cairo and Addis Ababa is so intense. It's not about scarcity, it's about independence. If the source nation can build the largest dam in Africa without a single dollar from the IMF, then the old world order has lost its leash. Trevor and the Prime Minister highlighted the real threat, the threat of a good example. If this model succeeds, other nations will stop asking for aid and start demanding equity. This is why adversary states are desperate to frame the dam as a threat. They aren't scared of the water, they are scared of the sovereignty. When you own your project, you own your destiny. The new era. The conversation between Trevor Noah and Mia Mottley has changed the frame. The Nile is no longer a colonial secret. It is a global stage for self-reliance. While some world leaders at Davos are still operating on outdated intel, the Global South is already celebrating the result. The Adwa of Engineering is complete. The money was domestic, the will was sovereign, and the result is a light that will power a continent. The question isn't whether the dam will work, it's whether the rest of the world is ready to follow Ethiopia's lead. For the deep dive into the topic, watch the video here. Don't forget to share your thoughts and stay sovereign.